Hello children. So at the moment we are doing the fourth chapter of your Hornbill book, that is the landscape of the soul, right? And it's written by Nathalie Truboroy. So in the first video what I missed is talking about something about the writer. So who is this? Let us understand briefly who is this Nathalie Truboroy. So Nathalie Truboroy is an art historian, and she is the wife of the Brazilian ambassador to India. She has traveled to many important cities of the world, and she holds a master degree in history of arts and architecture from the Belgium University. And she plans to write a book on old Delhi architecture, about Jama Masjid and Chandni Chowk. So this was some bit of information I have shared about Nathalie Truboroy, the writer of the chapter. So in the first video, in the first lecture of for this chapter, we had just discussed about two small stories from China talking about the Chinese art form. So today we are going to talk about that another small story which will give us some insight, information and ideas about the European art form. And this story goes back in the 15th century, and the story is about it's said to have taken place in Flanders. So Flanders is an medieval Western European country, and in the same country there's a port, that is Antwerp, and in the same port there lived a master blacksmith by the name Quentin Metsys. Now the Quentin Metsys, that blacksmith fell in love with the daughter of a very famous painter, but that painter would not accept blacksmith as his son-in-law. And then this blacksmith Quentin Metsys did not understand what to do. So one day he sneaked into his lab, and going there he painted a fly on the panel. Now when the painter came, and this fly was made with such delicate realism that painter took it as a real fly, and he tried to sweat it away, but then he understood it was not a real one, and the painter got impressed with the talent of the blacksmith Quentin, and he appointed him as his apprentice. And then in future, in the long course, he married his daughter, and it is said that in a long period of time, then Quentin turned out to be a very famous painter for the Flanders, for the Antwerp. So this was the third story. This was the story from European, talking about the European way of art. Now children, in the Chinese stories, we have seen that the emperor commissions a painting, and he commissions a painting, but he admires only the outer appearance of the painting, and the painter reveals to the emperor the real meaning of his painting. The emperor might rule over the territory which he has conquered, but it is only the painter who knows the way within. Now now this chapter is basically what children. This chapter is basically a comparison between the art form of two different countries. One is about the Chinese art form, and the other is about European art form. So this European art form is an example of perfect Hellenistic likeness, whereas the Chinese art form is an example of essence of inner life and spirit. Now the second part of the chapter is mainly talking about the landscape and about the Chinese art form. So this landscape is actually a inner one, spiritual and conceptual term. Now the term can be well explained in the word sanshui, which literally means mountain water. And these two terms, sanshui, which means mountain water, make the word together this landscape. These make these words landscape. And these words are not only the two elements of our image, but they are complementary poles which actually represent the universal view of Taoist. Now children, this yang, which means mountain stands vertically towards heaven, stable, dry and warm in the sun, whereas yin, which means water, it lies vertically on the earth, moist, cool and fluid. Now these two terms, now this yin, which represents water, is receptive and the feminine part of the universal energy, with its counterpart yang, which is active and which is muscular, is actually represent the idea of Taoist. Now in the process, we what is overlooked is the third element. The third element is the middle void. Now we need to understand what is this middle void. This middle void, if we try to understand, it is very much like yogic pranayam. So in yogic pranayam, what happens? We breathe in, we retain it, and then we again breathe out. We breathe in, we retain, we hold it, and we breathe out. So the middle part is the most important, where that meditation takes place. And this middle part is again very important, because it is like that that blank space in the landscape, which is there is nothing is drawn, but this blank space is like that middle void, which is equal to when we retain and hold our breathe in the process of yogic pranayam. So that is again this middle void, and the third element is very important. So children, this was a kind of overall idea. Once again I tell you, this chapter is what? This chapter is basically about the art form of two different culture. One about the European art form and the other about Chinese art form. So about the Chinese art form, two things is said, that it is two small stories said about Chinese art form that I have already narrated in my first lecture, and today I have narrated the from one small story about the Chinese art, about the European art form. And one more thing I would like to say, in Chinese, the Chinese the painter, he doesn't want you to borrow his eyes, he wants you to enter his mind. So this chapter is a bit different than the other chapter which you find, because it talks about something very very art form of literature. So you need to have patience, you need to go through the chapter, and then you can understand. Is that clear? So listen to both my videos, and after that you go through the textbook, and I'm very sure you can very easily enjoy the chapter, and you would understand what for the Nathalie Trebois, the writer, she has written, and what she wants to highlight, bring out through her work. Is that clear? God bless you.